What up, and welcome to the 36th episode of the Back of the Class podcast. We are your hosts. I am the Esteban Serrano.
Yo soy Juan.
Hey, I'm Zach.
And we are the Back of the Class. All right,
That was
Juan.
great. That was like you just met somebody.
Hi,
Well,
I'm
you
Zach.
I was
Nice
going
to
to say
meet you.
yo soy Zach, but you took it.
You are not. Yo, number 36, man. Who you got, David?
That is an anomaly to me.
There's no number 36.
Well, you
as
have
can
one because
remember.
your hometown.
Come on, man.
Your hometown Eagles guy.
My oldest son, Josiah, wears this jersey on Sundays, number 36. Brian Westbrook, one of the greatest running backs of all time for my Philadelphia Eagles. That, my friend, is a 36. Yo, but we closing this out with another 36, so you better do some homework.
Oh, don't forget Michael Jordan.
That's terrible.
Oh, my God. Michael Jordan wore a lot of numbers, none of which were in the 30s. Anyway, that was Zach's amazing knowledge of sports.
You guys are welcome.
Oh, I got one.
I'll get you next
save
week
it
if
for
you
the
need.
end, bro. Save it for the end.
All right, bet.
All right, so this week we're going to be talking about some crazy KimYe news. By this time, you know what happened, but Zach was actually on hand
In Paris. No, I was in New York.
Helping them tie her up.
I was gonna say, put this mask on real quick. Let's see where.
Kid Cudi has just announced today, you probably will be hearing this later, but today that he will be going to rehab, checking himself in. He wrote a long post about it. We're going to talk about that. Luke Cage broke Netflix. First television show to break Netflix. Luke Cage, we're going to talk about that. Of course,
I have a theory for that too.
Okay, good. I'm glad you have some things to contribute this week. We'll also be talking about Hallows Eve, what we're doing for Halloween,
Besides
things that are
watching
going
Hocus
on
Pocus.
around the Halloween time. Zach is a scary, freaky mother father, so I'm sure he'll have a lot to say
Yeah.
about that. Well, of course, we'll do our favorite segment, Whatever Happened To, and we end with the weekend playlist like we always do. Now, we got a little housekeeping that we have to take care of. If you love this podcast as much as we do, I mean, we've been doing this 36 times, 36 chambers right now.
There we go.
Well,
There we go.
Ooh, that was on fire. Then you need to rate and subscribe. And also, just leave us a review. It really helps for people to find our podcast and, all the types of algorithms and backdoors and all that type of crazy internet jingle.
Yeah.
So
And if you guys like the show and you know somebody who doesn't really like hip hop, but you want to share the show, we put the times of all the segments. So
Right.
if we're here talking about Halloween or a video game you like, send that,
Jump
send
right
that
in.
right over to your friend.
Word.
And say
Boom.
you can skip all their bullshit about Kanye and have some fun.
exactly. But now let's get right into the bullshit about Kanye. So Zach, just paint the picture for us of
Wait,
how you
where
was
were you?
enjoying your life, minding your business.
Where were you?
At the Meadows.
Where was the Meadows taking place?
In
Why you just want him to say? You just
In-
want him to
Just
say?
let him say it.
Queens,
Uh,
David's, New York.
Right.
damn right.
Yeah.
And where were you?
I was in
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, unfortunately.
Exactly.
Not unfortunately, but I was working at the ESL event.
That
So
was
you were
a-
in each other's boroughs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Swapped.
That was a bananas commute way out there. But
Borough swapping.
I actually didn't have a bad time. The Ubers I was taking to the Barclays Center where the traffic was minimal. I was shocked.
nice.
You?
They did a pretty good job out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, shut up. Let's talk about Kanye. Talk about
Well,
your
once
damn
I
commute.
found out this festival, the Meadows, which is the first time, once I found out it was in the parking lot of Citi Field, not
Right.
Citi Field, my motivation to go out there dipped really
Yeah,
quickly.
man. I thought it was gonna be like in Flushing Meadows.
So
the Meadows.
right, yeah.
Yeah, that makes
I
too much
wonder if
sense.
when people bought tickets for this that they knew this was going to be the vibe.
Probably
I
not.
really doubt it. Which makes it was like
Well,
Warped
isn't
Tour.
Electric Daisy in the parking lot as well? So they do festivals in the parking lot.
Yeah, all the-
you guys making it sound like it's a damn barbecue
Nah,
or
but
some
like,
tailgate.
Like the Meadows.
Yeah, it was very
implying that
deceiving.
it's in Flushing Meadows Park.
That park we went to that time, the shoot with the big globe.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And then
Ah.
their logo is the Unisphere,
Yeah.
which is in Flushing Meadows Park. That's why I have to imagine everyone thought it was gonna be in the park on the grass.
Even Kanye. No. So the scene is set, okay?
Hit it.
I skipped Saturday. Sunday, I was hoping to get there early, see a lot
Now,
of
you know you
music.
just incriminated yourself that you were supposed to be going for work and you didn't go. You just did this on our podcast.
It's not incriminating.
Okay.
Not a J. Cole fan, huh?
Hit it.
So I went out Saturday, and I once again found myself not very motivated. Got out of the house very late. Got there in time to see Chance and Kanye, basically. Chance's show is bananas. Like, if you've read about this magnificent coloring tour, whatever he's doing,
right.
it's crazy. He has like a choir of like Muppets up there.
Oh, nice.
It's the whole thing was so conceptual and very like
Wow.
90s kid and very like
so-
catering
Did it
to
feel
his-
like
to
Sesame
his
Street?
young, yes.
Oh wow.
Really?
Catering to his young audience.
That's the vibe I'm
It
getting.
was a whole theatrical thing.
Okay.
So then we wait an hour, we push up further to get ready for Kanye, and he came out and he was just like killing it. The set was so good. Obviously he couldn't do the flying stage, but he had I think that stage still there with him above him, so he had like the crazy lights. He went out like into the crowd pretty thoroughly at one point. Set list is just great. He's doing all the really hard stuff. And then halfway through Heartless, he was just like, sorry, I gotta go, like family emergency, and dropped the mic and walked off.
Wow.
And we're like, I knew the show was over right then. I was like, people were standing
Wow.
around. I was like, we can leave now. Like,
No, they didn't get like chance to come back or just something to fill in the
they
time.
had somebody came in after like 5 minutes, and he was like, Kanye West is off site. We're trying to work this out. We'll have an update for you in 10 minutes. We're like, what's your update gonna be? And then he came
If
back.
he's off site,
Yeah, and then he came back about 3 minutes later, and he was like, the show is over. Like,
wow.
So we walked out, and I just immediately thought that it was like, it made me think of when you get put on the spot to make an excuse for why you can't do something or why
Right.
you're not there, and it's just like the excuse that's at the top of the pile, family emergency. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, you back off, and you can't really inquire about that. But I thought he wasn't feeling the show or something, and he just
Wow.
that was his reason to peace out. And then
But
and
the show
nobody knew walking out either, because there's no signal there, and that news wasn't even out yet.
Right.
So
How long
nobody
did he
knew-
actually play for?
He was 35 minutes late,
Mm-hmm.
and he played for like 45 to 50.
Okay, I mean at least he didn't play for 10 and then
Yeah.
bounce.
Yeah.
If they kept the curfew, he only had like 10 or 20 minutes left.
Oh,
But,
okay.
but if he played his full set time, he had an hour left.
Oh shit. Well,
So
Ouch.
and ain't no curfew stopping him.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's true. He
so
just going.
he made it.
eat
I mean,
that.
he touched
Pause.
on 22 songs, so that was good.
And now we're getting kicked out of this conference room, so we'll start this over somewhere else.
are we really? I thought you checked the Jones.
I checked, but Joan
oh no, they're
wasn't
leaving.
there.
They're leaving. They're leaving.
Oh, sweet.
Okay.
And no, we're not getting kicked out of this
Game
one, so go
on.
ahead.
Game on.
We're a tight ship here at Fuse TV.
No, we still might be getting kicked out. No, we're fine. Okay, cool. Keep going.
So yeah, I mean, then I got home and I lived what everybody else lived, seeing online that Kim was robbed and held at gunpoint and all this shit, and it's just like it's horrible. Like the stuff that it's. I mean, all I really have to say about it is like the stuff that it has brought out. We're taping on Wednesday. The stuff that is brought out in like the 3 days that people have known about it in
Right.
terms of like Page Six, People Magazine, just like all the gossip and tabloid places.
Right.
They are just like feeding on it to such a disgusting degree.
I
Like,
heard.
it
Is it true that
nasty.
like now they're saying that she might have cried wolf and it never happened?
That's what I mean.
Like,
It's
I
just
see
like
headlines.
every place is gonna do every possible angle
Right.
and quote every fake source, whatever. It's just like it sucks. I feel really bad for them. That's got to be fucking terrifying.
Man.
Must have been awful to be Kanye and be here in New York. There's
that's the
nothing you
worst.
can
Right.
do.
How long is that flight? 9 hours? Something like that? 8 hours?
Oh no, I've never been to Paris. I wish.
I think that's
I have
just
to be
and
there.
just what's going on in your mind while you're on that plane headed back to Paris, man.
So did he head to Paris or did she head just back right after?
She came back
they
the
found
next
her?
day. I don't know if he secretly went overnight or something, but I mean, I don't
Man.
know if there's much left to say
Well,
about it. I mean, it's
Right.
just it's so serious. It's bad.
It's a good
It's-
thing nothing happened to her.
Man, yeah, that's tough.
It was crazy. She was by herself too. Usually, doesn't she have like really good security?
Yeah.
Yeah, their
Especially being in
security
a
is like
foreign
some
country.
crazy
Yeah, like, I've seen
Navy
I've
SEALs.
seen Eve at festivals walking around with
Right.
like Russian mafia,
Yes.
special Russian services
Right, yeah.
with her, and like
Yeah.
Kim Kardashian, what has no security? That's
Yeah.
weird.
Maybe it was just like going to bed at the end of the night or something. I don't know.
I don't know. Shout out to my homie Big D, who is a security guard right now for Cube, formerly for KimYe.
Oh, word.
I think they might be making a phone call to you, big homie. We shall see.
Yeah.
Crazy, chaotic news, man.
Yeah, we've
Unfortunate
been very Kid
news.
Cudi heavy on the.
Well,
podcast.
he's been,
That's
you know,
cool.
he's been
he's been
ringing
a
out.
lot of Kid Cudi content for no music.
Right.
No,
right.
man. It's
Right.
I mean, it's
For two
like,
Well, he
Travis
put that
Scott
Pharrell
features.
record. Was that Pharrell record he did
it
not
was just
recent?
him. It's ready. Like we're done with this record, and you're gonna hear it soon. I don't think he ever released it.
I don't know. I felt
Not
like I
that I
heard
heard
some
anyway.
Cudi
Could be wrong.
record. But anyway,
Yeah, it sucks.
yeah, tell us about
He
it.
basically
David.
released a really long statement talking about he checked himself to rehab, and like my first thought was like rehab, because I remember him being on like I think Conan saying like he doesn't smoke weed anymore. So when I saw rehab, I was like, oh man, don't tell me he got into like heavier shit. And it ended up being that he checked himself in for suicidal thoughts and depression, which sucks.
Yeah, man, that's terrible.
Because I mean I'm nowhere near that, but like I've fucking had depression shit in the past too. So like I know like that shit's not, it's no joke. But it makes sense from all the stories leading up. And it also, I was telling Esteban, it makes sense why Kanye didn't take it serious, and he said, yo, like, he's in a bad place. I hope he feels better, or he gets
Wow,
better. And
that's a
everyone
great
was just
point.
like, oh, he took the high road, and he's just like, whatever. But now, maybe he knew what was going on, and that's why he said what he said.
Yeah.
It's sad, man. Like,
What's so sad to me is like that message is so honest, and I think he was really brave and bold to say it. But he said how many times he's so ashamed and he's so sorry, and it's like, man, it just sucks. You have to feel that, like in this world,
man.
you know. You're certainly not alone to have to feel that, but like you're doing this big thing, you're putting it out there, you're going to rehab, and you still feel so ashamed and so sorry to your fans.
And
it's
that's
just like don't worry about it, man. Just go get healthy.
And you're Kid Cudi at the end of the day as well. And we known you for making these honest records and being transparent and like being a voice for people who can't, you know, speak or articulate the things that they're going through. You don't have to apologize. Like, we know who you are. Like, you're, you know, a genuine dude on, you know, both sides of the microphone. So, yeah, man, I just hope that he doesn't feel like he let anyone down by going to take care of himself. Like,
it also doesn't help, like, when he said what he said a couple of weeks back when he was calling people out and he was just being very outspoken, and then like his like baby's mother came out and just like I don't know was like, oh, he's a terrible father, he sees her like once a month, and
oh, come on,
he's this, he's that, and it's like, damn, dude, for a dude who suffers depression and just has that type of mindset at any given moment, that's like the last thing, number one, you want to hear. Number two, that you want just out in the public,
right,
when it's no one's business, really. It should be a private matter if it is true, if it's not. Like, no one knows a man's life.
no such thing anymore.
Like that, shit like that does not help.
Yeah, it's been a weird year for him since he showed up on Kanye's album, and then kind of not much else, and then definitely a very weird like month.
Yeah, so.
Right, man.
Hopefully he gets better.
Yep.
Gets his life, in a good place, and screw the music. Just get his life in a good place where he's happy.
But he was even looking out for fans in the thing, and he was like, my label and my manager are going to take care of the music videos and the album. It's still coming because it was supposed to come out 2 Fridays ago, I think, or on Friday. So yeah, and he said if everything goes well, I'll be out for Complex Con, which is something Complex Magazine's doing, like a big show, and that's in a month. So.
Right. All right, man.
Let's talk some Luke Cage.
Lucas
Zach,
C.
have you seen this?
No.
Zach.
All I've watched is one episode of Daredevil.
I haven't watched. I've watched 2
I know you
episodes
can just
of
jump
Daredevil,
in on it.
1 episode of Jessica Jones, and I was done with all of that stuff. And this, I think I'm 9 or 10 episodes in, and I haven't stopped watching it as of yet. I have my feelings on it. Juan, I'm sure, has way more opinion on it.
Well, I also don't want to. I don't want to. Spoil
No, go.
No.
I'll be okay.
We don't. We're not going to
worry.
spoil it.
Oh,
I
we're
mean,
not gonna spoil?
I could honestly just start with all the pros, because there really aren't many cons in my. And there's things that bother me, but
Esteban needs a 100% confirmation that you are not going to spoil it for him.
No, I don't care. I don't
That
care.
look on your face.
well, no,
was-
because you're up to what, episode 10, so you got like 3 more.
Yeah, I only have
Like
3
I
episodes.
won't, it's not even in a broader scope. Like, obviously, Netflix and their cinematography and the way they shoot it,
Mm-hmm.
and all on location, it's
Right.
phenomenal.
Okay.
He's awesome as Luke Cage. He was in Jessica Jones. So he was the way they introduce these characters in this Netflix
Right.
universe. They're all in each other's shows, but not long enough to
All in each other's shows.
Yeah, make you be like, all right, I don't care about the character I'm actually watching. I want more of him.
Right.
They just they entice you, and then when you find out they're gonna have their own show, it kind of sets you up like, oh, I can't wait for his show.
Right.
So the way they led up to Luke Cage from Jessica Jones is great.
And now it's what, Misty Knight? Is that the spinoff?
No, the
Iron
next one is
Fist?
Iron Fist, who is another superhero. So like, there's a part where I believe Cottonmouth is talking about everything that's going on, and he's like, in Hell's Kitchen, they got that
Right.
dude who's like, who's making sure that it's safe over there. Chinatown, they got their own problems. Like that's what he's referring to, like Iron Fist.
See, I don't know any of that
Right.
stuff.
Yeah.
So.
So like for people like me who are like know the comics and like are into the universe, like they drop so many dope Easter eggs.
Mm-hmm.
They talk about they reference the Marvel movies like, oh, you got freaks running around with hammers and like you ain't no Iron Man.
The
like,
incident.
there's a part that people say the
They're
incident.
trying to sell DVDs of the incident
Yeah.
Oh.
on the strip.
Even as far to say
That's
like
so
they
Harlem.
reference Jessica Jones, like, oh, you got some girl who broke some guy's neck because he was controlling people with his mind,
Right.
Which is what Kill Bill was doing to Jessica Jones. So like every piece goes together, and the callbacks are not. They're subtle enough, but good enough that they're not like watch the other shows and like
Right.
this is all connected. Like, if
But
you
tell
don't-
me about just Luke Cage as a show, like on its own.
Oh man, where to start?
Is it too black? Let's just go right
Oh my
there,
God.
right
Listen,
away.
People on Twitter are like,
Listen,
not-
bro.
A very minority of people on Twitter have
And by
been
minority,
outraged.
that's a pun. Because clearly minorities don't feel this way.
They've been like, where's all the white people on this show? This is reverse racism.
Right. Mind you, when there's a show that only has white people, that's not racist. That's normal real life. It's funny because I told that to a homie of mine, and he was like, yeah, they also said that they also complained that Bruce Lee movies was too Asian. And I was on the floor. I mean, but like when you set a movie about a black dude in Harlem, what did you think was going to... This ain't Bill Clinton's Harlem. Like... You know what I'm saying? Like, Harlem has not been gentrified to that point where it is a
Not
mixed
yet. It's getting
place. It's starting to, but it ain't yet. And right now, they in the hood
But it's
in
also
Harlem.
that aspect of the gentrification of Harlem that is happening is not crucial to the story they're trying to tell.
At
so
all.
Who gives a shit?
Okay.
And there is a white guy. He's a corrupt cop.
Exactly.
So,
But
You.
yeah. But going back to the show, like the music, like the supervision and the production from
my
there's
goodness.
performances that they mesh in a performance at a club
Holy
with like
cow.
other scenes going on and at the same time.
yes.
They're
Great
like
music.
5-minute long performance /
Yes.
sequences, and they're
Nice.
like, dude, Charles Bradley is in the show. And
Nice.
he's performing
Amazing.
and he's
Jadena.
killing it.
Scene with Jadena in it doing Long Live the Chief is
Yeah.
Wow.
Raphael
insane.
Sadiq is in
Wow.
it. Yeah,
Faith,
dude, like
Faith Evans is
Faith
in
Evans is in it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
like and like all the music beds and like the transition songs. They vary from like 70s funk and 80s to like 90s hip hop. There's Wu-Tang in there.
So they had Bring the Pain.
Yeah.
They played the Bring the Ruckus. They played, I don't know, they played so
Every
many dope.
episode is named after a Gangstar
Yeah.
track. Like
And
like-
I feel like every part of every episode so far that I've noticed had an actual lyric as one of
Yeah.
the dialogue lines. Not
Wow.
necessarily from Gangstar, but like there was a lyric in it, like spoken like it
Cool.
was. And I caught that as a hip hop fan. That's how deep and much,
Yeah.
when you talk about Easter eggs, that's how ill this thing gets.
My favorite part, and it's not just Luke Cage, but they just did it so well about these Netflix series, is that anyone who has never read the comic book or knows who these characters are engaged. That's how well written and how well done they are. Because my wife is not a comic book fan by any stretch, and she watched all 13 episodes in the same amount of time I watched all 13 episodes.
Yeah.
And she was into it.
Word.
That's like, you don't like, doesn't mean, now she's a comic fan, she's gonna go read comics. Like, no, not even. But that's how good it was. That a casual person watched all
Right.
13 and she loved it. And then she would ask me questions like, why this, why that, and I would explain it to her, and it made it even better. But like the acting, going back to the pros, the acting was good.
I have a problem with the acting, and the only problem that I have is with Diamondback and Cottonmouth. I feel like those characters could have been reversed.
I thought the same thing, but I feel like the guy who plays Diamondback is bigger and kind of figuratively more of a match to Luke Cage as an adversary than Cottonmouth.
But Cottonmouth, man, you loved to hate that guy.
Yeah.
He was the smoothest, suavest, ignorant gangster. Like,
I wouldn't say he was ignorant.
I mean, he was ignorant in the sense of like hood. He was smart, but he still did ignorant stuff. Like,
and I'm not gonna say his first name because I will butcher it.
Oh man, Ali is his last name. That's the easy part. He was in House of Cards. He was Remy in House of Cards.
He plays Remy. He's he absolutely kills it.
I love that guy.
Like, he's brutal when he had to be brutal. Yeah. He's like thought provoking, like engaging, classy when he had to be. Like, he was my favorite part of that show. Yeah, man. Agreed. Which is why I'm like, man, I wish that he had a bigger role than the one that he had in it. But as not being the bigger role where he's in all 13,
right?
He's still like a memorable part of the show, which I think is a testament of how good he was.
Word. Now, on the same note as the casting, I just would like to say, not that I ever forgot for a second, but this movie this series does such a great job at casting ordinary, beautiful black women. Like, it's one thing to get a thought, right? But it's another thing to get like a super attractive, beautiful, smart, articulate black, but that looks like an everyday person. You know what I'm saying? Like, Misty Knight,
not Rosario
is
Dawson.
So beautiful.
Situation.
She's hot too.
Even the girls at the club, like all of like these little hidden, the mom at the barber shop, like just regular women. They were beautiful, ordinary, well dressed, respectable, but beautiful, and that was something that I really appreciated as well.
How did you feel just watching the whole thing cast-wise in general? I mean, I
loved it.
How did you feel watching the show that people think is reverse racist? Which is so.
But I experienced that when they did the Wiz on, and people were saying that there's this black version of the Wizard of Oz. Is, you know what I mean? But it's like, well, then the Wizard of Oz is the white version of it? Like, no, that doesn't make sense. So I ignored all that crap.
Watching it, thinking of this foolishness?
The thing,
you're just like,
no. I don't care. I loved it. I was completely in. I was pissed when certain things happened, as I should have been, because that was what they were trying to make you feel. I was along for the ride. I was kind of concerned, and I texted Juan, I think maybe 2 episodes in, the utilization of the N-word. And like even
a lot
that,
of it, right?
No, not even
a lot, but it was used perfectly
by the right people, in the right
situations. But it also made a thing to question it. It almost painted the picture of the person who uses that word in that way is less intelligent than, because Luke Cage wasn't having being called that word.
No.
That's the best part.
And even like the congresswoman or the city councilwoman, she hated that word. But the hood N-words love to use that word.
Yeah.
So it kind of forced you to look at the utilization of the word and who's using it and who would you rather be associated with, type of thing. So at first I was like, I can't believe they're saying this word like this. But then as the story progressed, it made perfect sense.
It also has a lot of social connotations to it.
Yeah. Well, people were saying like it's a bulletproof black man. When
basically. And but there's like the police relationship, the corrupt police and like the way, because there's scenes where the cops are trying to get at Luke Cage and they're trying to get at him through his people from his neighborhood, and the way they're treating them is parallel to the way what we're seeing today, and like so like they absolutely made it a point to be like this is what's going on, whatever. So like that, it definitely had that social consciousness to it, which was great. If I could get to the cons, because they're nothing's perfect.
Sure.
Obviously, there's always room for improvement. For some reason, there was times where I did labor through a couple episodes just because
Toward
like,
the end,
Yeah, like any time where you're just like, this could have ended already.
right?
But I know, we work in TV. We know you
Gotta stretch.
sign up for a certain amount of episodes. Like,
Right.
if you watch Game of Thrones, you know all about fucking filler
Yeah.
episodes. If you watch
Yeah.
Breaking Bad, you know about filler episodes. Like they just,
Right.
they happen.
Yeah.
Some of the acting in some parts was a little, sometimes the actress who played Misty, who I liked her overall,
Right.
but there were times where she was very Gabrielle Union-ish.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Where it was like the over expressions of her face just were a little
Right.
too much and kind of took you out. And also, and I talked to this with one of our coworkers, Freddie, who is Freddie from Harlem?
I don't know.
I know he's a city kid like us, but
Yeah, but I don't know.
he was telling me, he was like, dude, like I love it.
No,
but
he's from Baltimore.
He's from Baltimore, but he's like, they put the Harlem thing, and I agree with him, so in your face,
Right.
so constant, and so they do it a lot. They
Yeah.
repeatedly do like, that building. That's where Bootsy Collins, drank a coffee once.
Right.
This is
right,
Harlem.
right.
This is where the polo grounds are around the like they
Right,
were. They
no,
were,
they
and I get
definitely-
it. I get it. You're establishing your setting.
I think
but
I
it was
counted.
Very,
I think
very,
I counted about 18 Harlems just in the word Harlem in one episode.
Yeah.
It was 18 times.
And I
they said
understand
Harlem.
why they were
Too
doing
much,
it. I get it, but it could have been done. They could have scaled it back a little bit because
Right.
it was very like if us who are from like I'm from New York and I frequent Harlem growing up, and like like Freddie who's from Baltimore, and we were all, we both saw eye to eye like that
Like, we
Harlem
get it.
stuff was in your face.
get it.
Yeah.
And they would just throw like Langston Hughes
Right.
did this, and
Right.
like it was just like you're kind of educating, but at the same time
It's preachy.
It's preachy and it's
forced.
just like very forced and very repetitive.
Yeah,
Now, on this-
that sounds like something that if it was a series on TV every week, like
Right.
sure, because you're not
Yeah.
watching back to back to
Yeah,
back
that's a
to
good point.
back.
Right. You don't have to reestablish
Yeah, sometimes
the setting.
people know that their whole show is gonna be watched at once, but they still do
Mm-hmm.
things that would only really work on week to week.
And not only that, they did a great job at letting you know it was Harlem with the authenticity.
And it was shot. You could tell
it was shot in Harlem. So Dapper Dan is in it.
Mm-hmm.
He's a Harlem, a Harlemite. D Nice was the DJ. Like they mentioned the Cotton Club. Like this is the new Cotton Club. Like that's clearly a Harlem reference. They had a lot of references
I think they shot in the Apollo
to
too.
Harlem. They did some
Oh,
other
wow.
ballroom.
Yeah, they
They
shot on Lennox
They shot
Ave,
in a
Malcolm
lot
X.
of great Harlem locations. They didn't have to, scream that out. But at the same time, the cameo game.
Oh, the cameo
was
game
amazing.
was amazing.
Yeah.
Like music cameos
Right,
too.
Right.
Those musicians, you guys.
I got
were
everyone knows
listing
like
off,
Meth's in
that's
it.
crazy.
At one
Right.
point.
Yeah.
Like Sway is in it.
Right.
Wow.
Like it's set in a very real world that we live in. Another point I wanted to make too about the whole racism, like the Hispanic was represented, like the Hispanic community
Right.
was super represented in the show as well. So you
Right.
can't say it was just a black show.
Nice.
Right.
Because like there was a lot of Hispanic, besides Rosario Dawson, but like her mom's restaurant. Her mom had the
Right.
Spanish English accent when she spoke to her.
Domingo.
Like the head honcho of
Right.
like the
Shades.
Hispanic. Yeah, like there was definitely, and it, like I said, it's based in reality. Like these two, like communities like mingle with each other.
Baja.
Right. They
Yeah.
coexist very well. But another thing that now that you mentioned that, so the one white cop was corrupt, and then the one white cop in prison, the CO,
Yeah.
he was also white. So there was more than one white person, but they were always the bad guy, and that's kind of how it works when you're
but
black.
also the second,
So, I really don't
her
have any
second partner
sympathy.
too was white, and he was not a bad
Right.
person.
Okay. So 3 white guys so far.
Yeah, but it's also like, yo, you're uptown, bro. Like you had
Exactly.
you had a whole series of Jessica Jones where it was they're in
Right.
Hell's Kitchen with Daredevil, and it's predominantly white. Like, what do you want? Like, I don't,
Which is crazy because Hell's Kitchen was very Hispanic
yeah,
historically. But no one complained about that because we don't care. We just want to watch good
So
television.
to round this out,
Yeah,
watch
round it
it.
out.
If you're casual, if you're hardcore, you already saw it. If you're casual and you're on the fence, I definitely recommend it. Make your opinion up for yourself and watch it. Check
Mm-hmm.
it out. Zach, you should watch it. My theory on why it did so well and it
Broke
quote unquote
Netflix,
broke,
Hope
it's
supposedly.
because I think, and you could talk to this more. I think because the black community finally like was like, all right, this is one. Like,
Right.
this is one we have to watch.
Right.
And it was relatable, and it was enticing because it was the main character is
This
a black
is-
guy.
Right.
It's set in Harlem. You know, the villain is black. You know, is in
Right.
Harlem. So I feel like a majority of the black community who didn't watch Daredevil, who didn't watch Jessica Jones for
Right.
one reason or another, were all in on Luke Cage, which is great because now hopefully they watch Iron Fist or they go, I gotta watch this Jessica Jones shit.
Right,
Or
right,
I gotta
right.
watch this Daredevil shit. So
And it did make me want to go back, even though I gave them a try and I didn't like them. But I want to say on that point, people are glazing over the fact that like black faces on television is running stuff right now. You think of Atlanta and the numbers that show is doing. When you think of Empire and the number that show is doing. When you think of Scandal and How to Get Away with Murder.
Well, and Netflix's last big one was The Get Down too.
And
Yeah.
the Get Down, and now this. So yes, it broke the internet because the black community is getting behind it. But like the reason why Tyler Perry is a joke, if you want to say, is because we go out in numbers and support things that support us or that reflect who we are. So I hope not only does this make the black and Hispanic or whatever community want to go dig through those other things, but hopefully it reflects in the offices where they're like, yo, these people are really representing and money talks.
And it's not just the black community. Like, there's no Narcos did not do well just because white people were watching it. It's
Exactly.
because Colombians were watching it.
Right.
Puerto Rico,
Yep.
the Hispanic community,
Everyone
who's known
loved
Pablo
that
Escobar
show.
wanted to watch those shows.
Well, what
Right.
I was thinking about when you were talking about breaking Netflix is like Black Twitter is a thing, and it's this huge force.
It
is
is.
a huge
Yeah,
force,
absolutely.
and Netflix is just the next tab over from your Twitter. It's
Right.
right there.
Yeah,
sure.
So it's like it takes nothing to just
Absolutely.
click right into Netflix and jump in, which is great. You don't have to Friday morning see all the tweets about Scandal and be like, oh shit, I really gotta check out that show next week. It's just right there.
Yeah,
you
man.
can get in.
Whatever happened
Solve a mystery
to
here.
Ooh, Mike Jones.
who?
Mike Jones.
Who?
Now, if you recall, Mike Jones had a cup of coffee in the hip hop world, I guess you could say.
Ouch.
He was out for like what, 2 years maybe? I mean, he broke like big. Like he had Sitting Sideways.
Nah, he was broke.
And
he was.
And
he was
again,
broke.
like we've
He
said
broke.
before, when we do these segments, we're
Right.
not trying to like say anything bad. It's just like legit. Like I wonder what happened to him.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wonder if he's still making music. Esteban said he started out making stripper music, right? Their soundtracks.
Listen to me, man. I'm mad at the brilliant mind that was or still is Mike Jones for two reasons. Number one, he was the first rapper. He blew up in Houston because he would make custom stripper songs for a stripper. So if Strawberry is about to walk into the pole,
Strawberry.
he would get a beat and just rap about how sexy Strawberry was, and that was what she would be stripping to.
Wow.
And so one stripper did it, and then they all wanted one, and Mike Jones blew up because. And now when you
Did
think
it
of
live at the club?
no,
or
he would pre-record it, and then the DJ would play it
Nice.
like during their solo pole dance situation.
And what was the other thing like he did when his verses like?
And this is another thing, right? Oh my God, right? But now we hear it often. No, now what happened as a result of this was, so hip hop forever has been at least 3 verses. Nowadays it's like 2 verses.
yeah, or one sometimes.
Or one sometimes and a lot of hooks. But Mike Jones would get to about 12 bars in and not really feel like writing 4 more bars to finish out that 16-bar verse. So he would just go, I said, and then repeat the
Yeah.
last 4 bars again. It's like, but you didn't even say anything hot. You didn't say anything worth repeating, but you just didn't feel like finishing this verse.
It
so
was
you
catchy
just
as
said,
hell though. Like
I said, and then he would
You really
repeat
don't know who
it
we're talking about?
again, man.
Don't out me. Guys.
Like if you go on YouTube and go just search "Sitting Sideways," I was like, that had to be his biggest song.
Right.
And he was working with a lot with Paul Wall.
Yeah, he was a
and,
part of that Swisher House movement
Swisher
type
House,
situation. But another thing that was brilliant about Mike Jones was the fact that he knew that he came out of nowhere. So his whole shtick was, Mike Jones, who? Mike Jones, who? Like, he would say it to himself, like, I know you don't know who I am, but everybody else knows who I am. Like, the important people in Houston and the strippers who you all was dreaming and fantasizing about being with knew who Mike Jones was. So maybe you would be like, man, who is that? But everyone knew. Mike Jones. So I always thought that was kind of dope. Like
Did
he
you guys
would
figure out what
not
happened
take
to him?
himself seriously. Heck no, man.
that's-
We don't know
that's-
what happened to
That's the
Mike
listener's
Jones.
job. Go find out
Yo, holla at us.
It's better if we don't look.
Then it keeps the
I feel like
mystery
every song
going.
also had a reference to candy paint something.
Oh my goodness,
Because
man.
that's definitely a South thing.
Let me tell you, we was in Austin this weekend, standing out in front of our hotel, and a candy paint Denali, I want to say, on 24s rolled by, and I felt like I was in
I was
2008.
gonna say that's a time machine.
But yep, it pulled up and it was black, and then it turned the corner and hit the sun, and it was like purple and green.
Were they spinning?
No, the rims weren't spinning. They was standard, but when it made that left and changed colors, man, we lit up, man. And I was like, "Ooh,
pretty
look at
dope.
it sparkling!"
Didn't you see Desiigner too?
No,
Oh
In
yeah,
Austin?
You interviewed Designer. You gotta tell people about.
I saw you snapped or did something Instagram about him riding by
Yeah,
on a
man,
moped
listen,
or
man.
something. We've had a lot
I
of
have not
Desigigner
been-
encounters this year.
so excited and disappointed all within like a 10-minute window.
Because
So Designer's there, right? And he's not supposed to be. He's not on the bill.
yeah,
So it's a complete surprise, right? So he comes up, we're ready to do the interview, and I'm like, you're not on the bill. You mind if I ask you about whose set you're going to jump on and blah, blah, blah. By the time this comes out, it's going to already have happened, so we're not spoiling anything. He's like, yeah. And then I have about 4 or 5 other, questions, and I'm so excited to talk to him because we talk about him all the time, number one, but number two, like, it's a moment at ACL talking to Designer, surprise situation. And every question that I asked him was the same answer.
Yep.
I could have said, "What's your favorite color?"
I should have told you not to be excited, man.
And he would have said, just giving the people what they want. Geek.
Yeah, man.
That was the answer.
With the
to
huge smile.
every smile. He was so happy to be there, man. And I appreciate when a new artist is excited about, you know what I mean, the moment that they're in. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know how that guy writes a single verse.
And that's why,
Like,
again,
obviously
don't
it's not
take-
that
you
lyrically
can't-
dense,
you
but
can't
still.
question
Like,
genius.
Mike Dean, whoever it is that are piecing these records together that come out so amazing. After meeting this guy, man.
Him sitting next to Mike Dean was, I think, the only video I saw where he was saying more than that.
Yo, man.
I've watched a lot of clips because I want to see how long he can keep this like saying he's like all the rapper interview cliches just put together
It's so terrible.
and then made really enthusiastic.
Now, we come across artists who don't have media training, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they attempt to answer the question and give information.
Yeah.
But you know what? It makes for a good story though.
And here's my least favorite part of
And
this.
he wasn't a jerk.
He
or
was
anything.
amazing.
He was the nicest guy.
He
yeah.
was the coolest dude, man.
think that's the
and it
important part.
only made, I swear, after that major disappointment, I went and listened to Designer for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
And you know what?
Because I liked him so much after meeting him.
But you
man.
also, like, to put it in perspective, like, you were upset because you didn't get more info or just to get
Yes.
to talk, not because
I just wanted to talk
Yeah.
to him, man.
Yeah.
And here's the thing that was the worst part, right? So, shout out to Steven Victor. I've known Steven Victor for years and years and years. He's Pusher's manager. It looks like he's managing, Designer now. Great guy, man. Super smart dude, hustler. Steven Victor wants to sit in on the interview, which made me feel like, if Steven Victor wants to be here, there's a chance that Designer's going to say something that he probably shouldn't say. So Stevens wants to be there to make sure that you like, don't use that part. We not going to let you use that till later. So I'm like, I could like ask him something that could really. So I started to pry. Like I started forming questions in my mind to be like, what is he working on right now? What's up with Cruel Winter? Like, I wanted to throw all of these questions out. Baby, just giving the people what they want. Geek. I was like,
Well, I told you when I
am
saw him on that
done.
night trying to chase Kanye
Yes.
around, he was running down the avenue making his ad libs. So.
No,
Yeah.
that's how he mic checks too. He's like, yo, can you check your mic? He's like, you ready? You ready? Get. I'm like, oh my God, he's mic checking like that.
All right.
I love that guy, man. It made me a fan, and I hate that it made me a fan because when Nas pissed me off, I stopped listening to Nas for like 6 months, and then Life Is Good came out, and I couldn't hold back. But
What Nas do, real
He
quick?
stood me up like twice,
Oh, okay.
bro.
All right.
Yeah, that's me with
Damn.
Action Bronson.
Action Bronson. I
Love-
can't believe you even like that guy
Love
anymore.
his music, and that's my queen.
How many
Oh,
times?
Chance played Baby
Fellow
Blue,
Queens.
by the
Oh,
way.
he did?
It was
Oh,
really
that's a
great.
great
dope.
record.
Yeah.
I
And
love
he's
Chance
and then
personally.
and I think I've been set up by Action Bronson 3 times.
See?
Yeah.
And you still like him.
Cold.
Yeah, I still have his music on my phone. Yeah.
Damn.
All right, let's let these fucking people get out of here.
Oh, yeah, true that.
Weekend
These
playlist.
beautiful listeners.
Beautiful people. I'm going to make it mine easy. I'm playing Iron Banner all weekend. Destiny Iron Banner event is going on right now. I ain't listening to nothing.
I'm gonna be at Comic Con, New York Comic Con, for the
Yeah.
next 4
Nerd.
days. So that's what I'm gonna be doing. No, I might be attending some panels where there's gonna be hip hop artists. Like Marvel's having a cool panel with a bunch of like rappers. So that's probably as far as I'm gonna get.
Cool.
Boom.
Were you gonna listen to it on the train on the way there?
Probably podcast.
Podcast. Yeah.
This one?
Back of the class.
How many
podcast?
episodes? We in 36. How many episodes of Back of the Class have you listened to? Juan?
37.
Oh yeah, because that test
shut
episode
up.
we
Test
did.
episode,
Yeah.
bruh.
Don't give me that crap. Go ahead.
Why don't you test my stripes?
Zach.
That Bon Iver album is one I'll be listening to for a very long time.
I listened to that this weekend.
It's crazy, right?
I had a
Some-
crazy headache because my allergies were bananas.
That's amazing.
So I needed to like just chill out and relax. I put that on, and it's not a very long album.
Right, it's very short. Yeah.
It was great. I
Cool,
loved it.
yeah,
I
all right.
definitely
I
and
love
I
the-
listened. I thought of you when I'm like, oh, let me listen to this. They
I
ain't
love the
talking about
concept
this
of listening
album.
to music when you have some sort of.
I needed to
Yeah,
come
yeah,
down. I knew
yeah.
he was going to be
It's like,
rock.
yo, I listened to that.
Yo.
I had diarrhea, so I listened to
Wow.
Bonnie Bear, and that shit made me feel
Man,
better.
shut up.
I've told a couple people I listened to something they made to go to sleep all the time, and they're just like,
Thanks.
"Oh, great!" Like they were pissed. And then the second time I did it, it's
Now, is it me or does Kanye borrow from Bon Iver a lot?
yeah, for
Okay,
sure. Yeah.
that's. I just was like, I'm listening. I'm like, this
Well-
sounds a lot like something that Kanye would do.
yeah.
Okay, cool.
Why'd you say I like Bill Cosby? This
You
sounds
know,
like
the people love the Kanye steals
And then I
all
just gotta
the
say-
music.
I just got into Anderson .Paak earlier this year, and
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like,
He's
"This
dope.
shit is deep. I could be listening to this stuff forever."
True
and then
that.
it's kind of there's been so much new music, but I'm going back more into that.
I like that.
I
Yeah,
love
yeah,
it.
yeah. I have to listen to that album too.
All right, thank you guys.
All right, last 36, bro. Take us
Oh,
out.
oh.
I had two good ones. I had Westbrook and 36 Chambers.
I'll
Where
just
you
give
at?
you one. Albert Bell.
Oh, Al.
What?
He said Old Al.
If we ever get into like a trivia like battle with somebody,
Yo.
don't pick Zach for sports.
Yo, next
But pick him
podcast,
for everything
we
else.
are playing a game. We are going to come up with a sports game for him, trivia.
Oh,
with
we
a sports
should.
game to stump you guys with
Nah,
the
nah,
limited
nah,
No,
nah,
sports
that's
info
easy.
that I
That's
know.
easy.
Nah,
No, I mean
nah,
like
nah,
ask
nah,
you like who was like Michael Jordan's most famous teammate.
Right. And we
Number
And you and
23.
No.
That was Michael Jordan. See, that's
All
what
right,
I'm saying. We're
yeah,
doing this
we
next
do it.
episode.
Tune in next
Tune
week.
in next
All right,
week.
All right.
Enjoy your life. Peace.